Ahoy, mateys, and welcome back to Disappearing Kodo the Pirates and to All the Mods 7 Season 2, Episode 10. We made it to 10 episodes, and today we've got a couple of things I want to get done, so let's just jump right into it, shall we? So as you can see, we're starting out today's episode at the Iron Farm, and the entire reason I wanted to start out over here is I was kind of curious to see if my design actually worked. I was kind of, I don't know, I was kind of trepidatious about the design and whether or not it was working and whether or not I was doing what it was supposed to be doing. I think it's safe to say that the Iron Farm's working just fine. We have 2,500, well, there goes another one, 2,534 iron here. Now, I have not AFK'd much at all for this particular iron farm. Oh, look, my flippers are still in my head. Hold on, we need to fix that. Much better. Okay, now that that's fixed. So I have not AFK'd here hardly at all, but I do have it. If you, yes, I updated the pack. I know. Just go to the map, will you? Thank you. If you notice, I do have this area chunk loaded here, and why this is still chunk loaded, I'm not entirely certain, but we'll fix that at some point. So I do have the iron farm itself chunk loaded around here. It looks like I have to be in the area to unload it. But we do have this actually loaded. I should probably load that. And I don't need to load those. So this is all loaded. So if I understand correctly, that means that because this is loaded through FTB, the chunks claiming mode, if I understand correctly, that means that basically this thing's going to function all the time. Remember how I had my entire base chunk loaded? My base was basically a PowerPoint presentation? Well, that's been solved. Don't have to worry about that at all now. But since this is chunk claimed, I believe it's working no matter where I'm at in the world at this point. So, which is really nice. It just basically means I have effectively unlimited iron now. And yeah, this design seems to work just fabulously well. I was really worried that it wasn't working at night, but it seems to be working just fine around the clock. So I'm really happy with this design. The fact that I designed this and built it as is, and it functions this well, I'm pretty happy with that. So so that's why we're over here. Also, I'm starting a new thing rather than shouting out individual All the Mod 7 creators here in every episode, because I've been doing that for the last 4 or 5 episodes. If you look down in the description below, all the links to all the Mod 7 creators are there, including someone who just joined my Discord who I've been remiss in mentioning, and that's Zydrin, who's a new creator and who's doing on all the Mod 7 series. So his link's down there too. But we've got Super Turtle, we've got Pilpo, we've got me, of course. I don't link to my own channel. I'm not that narcissistic. I'm pretty narcissistic, but I'm not that narcissistic. But we've got, Super Turtle, Pilpo, me, Silent Weirdo, Zydrin, Lashmac, who's a new guy who I shouted out last episode, and then the Andrada is a new one as well that I just found recently, and his link's down there too. So basically, it's the All Mod 7 Brigade down in my description below. Check them all out after you're done watching this video. I also, off camera, dressed up the power generation station, the substation, a little bit here. We've got a little bit of an area out front here where we've got some of these aluminum fencing, which I just thought looked cool, with some of the Immersive engineering static lights on the outside. A couple of little details here and there that I just added in that I thought made it look a little bit less flat. I put in some dark oak trapdoors up there to sort of cover up the wiring. So just a few little touches that I did. But I really, as far as and the pathway, I had to use these beige bricks because I thought those looked really cool and looked really good in combination with the substation here. So I sort of dressed this up a little bit off camera. I didn't do a whole heck of a lot off camera this week, though, just simply because I was very tired and the weather was crappy and work was a work. I love my job, but it was kind of draining this week. And since I had just gotten back from vacation, I needed a vacation to recover from my vacation. So I needed just a couple of days off just to basically, refresh myself and sort of re-energize and recharge my own batteries to get things taken care of. But one of the things that did happen this week was the pack got updated twice. So I was like, oh, hey, I mean, just the newest update I literally just downloaded. So this is the latest version of all the Mod 7 that I'm playing on as of February 5th. So this is the absolute latest version. And it does include a few new things in here. So if you go ahead and take a look, we now have 97 pages of mods. Tinker's Construct has been put into all the Mod 7, which is very interesting because we now have access to both Tinker's Construct and Silent Gear. So basically, if you really are a fan of Tinker's Construct, you can use Tinkers to create your various different Tinker's tools and scythes and all the other different stuff. Like the cleavers, I love the cleavers. They're just giant anime swords. They're great. So you do have access to all of that stuff in here, which does also include integration with why am I blanking on the name of it? Oh my goodness. Mystical agriculture. There we go. So it does include some mystical agricultural stuff as well that you can make in here, which is cool. So if you're a big fan of Tinker's Construct, you have all of the Tinker's tools in here now that you can mess around with rather than going the Silent Gear route. I personally have gotten to the point where I think I prefer Silent Gear over Tinker's Construct. And I know that's kind of heresy to a lot of people, but I really do prefer the Silent Gear model to Tinker's. I mean, don't get me wrong. I like both. Both of them are really cool mods, and both of them I really enjoy using. But I think I actually like Silent Gear better than Tinker's anymore. But the other thing that got updated was not in this update, because I think it's back now. Let me see. If I can spell. It's not. So I walked into my storage room, and my simple storage was gone. Like, this was just gone. And I walked into my storage room, which you've never seen. You will now. And all of the chests, they had no pipes running to them. They had nothing. So simple storage has been removed. And when I walked in, my brain sort of went like this. Yeah, that was pretty much it. That was pretty much it. So what I had to do, as you may notice here, is I had to basically recreate my entire storage system because I wasn't going to go down a whole new storage route without knowing where everything was. That was the other thing, is that because the one problem with simple storage is that it basically fills chests kind of randomly. So, like, I've got grass over here, but I've got grass here. You know, I've got... There you go. We've got all these spawners over here, but then if you look in another box, I'll have spawners in this one. So it doesn't sort it like, it doesn't put things in any kind of logical order. It just throws them all into a chest because the logical order is your storage remote or your storage system over here. So I did not want to sit there and muck around with a brand new storage mod that took a whole lot of work without knowing where everything was, because that would just be a nightmare. So I went with Tom's Simple Storage, which Super Turtle's a big fan of this, and I can see why now. It's very simple. It's very powerful. It's basically simple storage plus some tweaks. And it uses these inventory cable connectors for all your different chests. And then just like inventory cables, like you've got up there, to attach them all to different places. So let's say you want to do, like, you've got a farm over there, and you've got your main storage over here, and you want to connect them both, and you don't have access to, say, these ender chests. You can run cabling all the way over there and just attach it all, which is nice. So it's not quite the same as Simple Storage Networks, but in some ways it's actually kind of better because it does give you like sort capabilities. You can sort by item amount, so you can see, like, if I click on this, I can see which one I have the most stuff of. And actually that's how it's being sorted right now. Or you can sort by least. You can do standard search, advanced search. You can do AE controls on it. And you can make the wireless remotes. So this is the advanced wireless terminal, since I had some, netherite ingots laying around that I wasn't really doing much with, that I went ahead and made with Tom's Simple Storage. And Tom's Simple Storage it's pretty good. I mean, I like it. I think I like just the regular Simple Storage better, and I'm not sure why it got removed from all the Mod 7. My suspicion is there was some sort of conflict with other mods that they just they just decided to get rid of simple storage, or the fact that it's like, hey, you know what, we've got Toms in here. Do we really need simple storage in addition to Tom simple storage? Probably not. Let's save room and save file space and just have one simple storage mod instead of two. Totally understandable. But I was beside myself when I walked in and saw that my entire storage network was effectively gone. See, I almost committed harakiri on the spot right there. Harakiri because gawk. So I was pretty close to that when I saw that. But then I realized, wait, Tom simple storage is in here. That'll be easy enough to do. And it was. It was just it just freaked me out when I saw that it wasn't there. Right, Sharky? You were here when I was freaking out about it, huh? As far as other new things that were added to the pack, we do have Macaw's roofs that have been added in, too. Now, Mana and Artifice was taken out. This is something that a couple of you, specifically Mr. Chaos and I think, was it Paul or was it Big Gabby? One of you had actually mentioned that. I'm not exactly sure which one it was, but you had mentioned that too. And I was like, oh, okay, well then, so much for that, I guess. So, obviously, a couple of little ones have been added in here, but Tinker's Construct is the big one that did get added for this particular update of the mod. So, I'm tempted to do some Tinker stuff, but honestly, we've outstripped it at this point because we do have like the super Silk Touch pick, we've got the super sword and the super fortune pick. So I mean, we've kind of gone beyond Tinker's Construct at this point. We could get into it, but really the only thing you'd really need to get into it for, in our case, would be like ore doubling, and we already have that with our wonderful copper ore hammers over here. And as we get more into things like immersive engineering and maybe create a few other mods as they put more mods in, we'll have access to ore tripling or even quadrupling in some cases. So we don't really need Tinkers at this point. It's cool, and I like it, but it's not really something that we want to get into. So what are we doing today? Well, there's a couple of things that I actually want to do. First of all, I did a little bit of exploration off camera, and I found a village way up north that I want to go visit. I plopped a waystone down over there just to go visit it, because I'm trying to see if I can actually get some new chunks to load with Biomes of Plenty. Now, from what I've seen and what I've heard from a few people, Big Gabby in particular, but also people who play the pack outside of my direct circle, if you're an early adopter of the pack, so in other words, if you started all the Mod 7 like I did with Season 2 once it went to 1.18, Biomes of Plenty may not be available to you. It was with the 1.17 version, which is why I was living in a redwood forest then. But with 1.18, Biomes of Plenty was not 1.18 ready yet, so they launched it with basically without the Biomes of Plenty support in there. So you'll find sort of this more standard stuff, the more standard 1.18 world generation. And I say standard like it's a bad thing, because honestly 1.18 world generation is amazing. But because of that reason, we may not be able to actually reload or regenerate chunks with Biomes of Plenty stuff in it, without the redwoods, the willows, all the different things that you're used to seeing with Biomes of Plenty, mangroves, just simply because of the way that the pack has been curated so far. Which I don't blame the pack developer for that, because I'm trying to imagine the nightmare involved with basically telling a whole bunch of people, okay, I know we just wiped for 1.18, but now you got to wipe again for Biomes of Plenty. I think there'd be a mutiny if that happened. So I can totally understand why they basically are saying, hey, if you were an early adopter, bully on you, we appreciate it, but you're not going to have access to Biomes of Plenty in your 1.18 world that you've created right after wiping your 1.17 world. So I guess it's 6 in one hand, half a dozen in the other. We either, you wipe your world and start over from scratch to do Biomes of Plenty, or you just deal with the fact that Biomes of Plenty isn't necessarily something that you have access to if you started playing this right away. Now, for most people, like if you're playing in a all the Mod 7 world, you're getting started out, you're trying a few new things out, and you realize, oh, they dropped Biomes of Plenty in this particular update. I started 2 updates prior to that. I guess I can go ahead and start over at this point. Okay, cool. But if you're someone like me, or Lashmac, or Super Turtle, or Pilpo, or any of these other people that I've mentioned over here, where you're basing your entire series off of where you started, it's kind of hard to just start all the way over again. And we don't want to do that, especially because I love my base. I mean, come on. How can you not love this? This is just gorgeous. I mean, I've had so much fun building this base. I mean, and I loved my last base. Don't get me wrong. The one log house, I really liked it too, but I think this is better. I really think this is better. It's and I've been told, I think by a few people, it's a very Ethos Lab kind of build. And, that's that makes me feel really good. Getting compared to someone like Ethos Lab as far as like base building stuff, that makes you feel good. That makes you feel real good. I mean, I don't think anyone would be upset about being compared to Ethos Lab. Except maybe this gal. Quite possibly him. But I don't know. I guess maybe he would too. So that's thing number one that we're going to do today is I want to do some exploring to see if we can actually get them to generate at all or if we're just out of Biomes of Plenty just in general. But the other thing I want to do is I want to deal with this. So this has been my farming area in this base since pretty much day one of having built it. And, it's okay. There's nothing terribly wrong with it, but it looks kind of raggedy, It's a very manual harvest kind of thing. Plus the fact I need more hemp because I need to make more industrial engineering stuff. And as far as like the fabric goes, hemp's really the only way to do that. So I have this small patch of hemp over here that I replaced the pepper with hemp. But this just, we could do so much more with this space. We could put like all of the chipped stuff over here, for instance, all the different workbenches for chipped, and have access to all those really cool blocks. We could do so much more with this particular space than just have, a manual farm in it. So I want to just go ahead and create some old school, like automated farms, like an automated pumpkin and carrot farm, maybe do like automated farm for wheat, one for melons and pumpkins, because we do have the mob yoinkers, so we can just go grab more villagers at some point and throw them in our villager trading hub, make them farmers, and then be able to get pretty much unlimited emeralds. So we could totally do that, and I totally do want to do that because I want to be able to use this space for something other than farms. I just got to figure out where we're going to put the farms, and I just fell in the water. But before farming comes adventure. So let's go ahead and hit our waystone. We're going to, the Northern Dark Forest. So let's go there and see if our lag actually will stay down. And here we are, as far north as I have ever ventured in this particular world. As you can see, we're in a dark forest area here. And my computer sounds like it's trying to set itself on fire. Big Gabby also had asked, it's like, how much RAM are you allocating to the game and all that? I'm giving it 6 gigs. So, I mean, I'm giving it a fair amount of memory to actually be able to run on this. So it should be more than enough. Now, having said that, I am asking, hello, Mr. B, I am asking the machine to run this, to run OBS, and sometimes run like a couple other programs in addition. So I usually have like Google up over here just with a couple of different applications that I use when I'm playing. So I'm asking it to do an awful lot for a 4-year-old computer. And it's a 4-year-old computer. I mean, it's not a bad computer. It's got 16 gigs of RAM. It's got a fair amount of hard drive space. It's SSD. It's got all the bells and whistles to it. But, and the really funny thing is like I don't know if anyone has ever watched Up Is Not Jump when he talks about how like Minecraft in VR is a nightmare. He actually shows when he's playing Half-Life Alyx in VR versus Minecraft in VR. And Minecraft in VR is trying to set his house on fire. And Half-Life Alyx, which is a gorgeous game in VR, isn't even taking like 20% of his resources. And he has no idea why, and neither do I. So I mean, there is that. I don't know why, but it's just, I don't know if it's the fact that just the way the mods are compiled, or the way the mod pack works, or the way that just Minecraft is just a hog as far as resources go sometimes. I honestly don't know. So I mean, I think it's the pack and the fact that I have other things open, especially my recording software, that are the problem. Because my recording software is open source. It's OBS. That's what I use. A lot of people use Premiere and a few other things. I use OBS because it's quick, it's simple, it's cheap, and I understand it, and it's open source and it's free because I'm the cheapest man alive. So that's why. So, but this actually is not looking too terrible right now. As you can see, we're at 39, 49. We're in the the 40s and 50s for FPS. I mean, that's not awful. And I do have it on highest settings. My render distance is a fair ways out. So, but I want to go see what that is over there. Ooh, that's trippy. All right. Let's go ahead and sleep. And we'll go explore that. And as you can see, we're using our Emerald Jetpack to get around because this thing is awesome. It's very cool to have this Emerald Jetpack. It's got like 48 million RF that it can store up, which is fantastic. So, plus the fact you can go warp speed. Woo! Oh, hello. Why, hello there. And okay, now we're struggling with some frame rate. Yeah, there we go. Oh, let's get on the ground. Oh, okay. That was a struggle. Do we need... I don't think we need... No, we don't need acacia. We've got plenty of acacia. I hear lava around here somewhere. So, this guy, actually, is someone that we want to talk with. Because this is the guy that takes you to the Everbright and the Everdawn. I love the fact how he's got, like, one eye that's all cloudy, and he's just this old... Hello, Mr. Emu. He's this old. Can we ride this thing? No, we can't. Dang it. I want to ride an emu. I want to be the emu riding pirate. Ooh. We do have seals, though. I wonder if... No, I'm not going to club a seal. I might think about it, though. Aha! So this guy's going to the Everbright. So this is the one I was in before. I do have a portal saved for the Everdawn, because I did find one of those very early on, and I have not been to the Everdawn yet, and I definitely want to go there at some point, just to see what the difference is between the two. What do you got in here? You've got, ooh, some Ventium, some bread, baked potatoes, a little hot rod red. Smelt Ventium into an ingot. Well, I kind of did that. I mostly just stole it from this guy, but, you know, it's the thought that counts. Oh, too fast! And I want to go back to the Everbright for no other reason than just to get access to things like this again, the maple planks, because look at the trapdoors for that. They're so good. They're so good. What do you got in here? Moonstone shards, some emeralds, book, bread. Never turn down bread. So many different things you can make with it, including ham sandwiches. I'm trying to stick to pirate food, but ham sandwich, man. I love ham sandwiches. Like a good ham sandwich, oh, it's the best thing ever. All right, what's in the box? Book, bread, a couple of maps. We'll take those. And bread and some more baked potatoes. Alrighty. Oh, I want to steal your crafting table. Okay, I won't steal your crafting table. Nice. Okay, well, we've looted this. Let's move on. Before I move on, though, I am going to put down an Everbright portal waystone so that I can get back here. Because I've got the Everdawn, and now I'll have the Everbright. So if you look over here, actually, you go, let's see here. Yeah, Everdawn portal. There it is. So we do have portal to both now, the Everdawn and the Everbright. So if we ever want to go there, and it's stable, because what I was seeing from Silent Weirdo's video, when he tried to go there, it totally crashed him out. So I'm waiting to see if it's actually stable before I try going there. All right. North, Miss Tessmacher. North. Well, and it looks like we've come to the northern end of the world. Well, I mean, I'm certain there's more stuff out there, but so this is basically at world's end for Forest for today, I think. And we're back after that short excursion to the north just to see what was out there. Didn't find any biomes of plenty stuff, so which says to me that more than likely we're not going to find any biomes of plenty stuff until we figure out a way to actually generate some new chunks with biomes of plenty. Which is kind of a crapshoot. It seems like it's a real quick way to corrupt your world to the... Oh, I'm invisible again. Invisible pirates. A good way to corrupt your world to the point of past point of no return. So I don't know if I really want to do that. But that's okay. We'll manage. I mean, I won't have my redwoods, but I will deal. So what are we going to do here? Now, last episode we built this. So we have a source of power. So we have our power ready to go up there to wherever we want to go. And where we want to go, I think, is to the farm that I had thought of, because I'd forgotten about something that Immersive Engineering allows you to build, which is this, the garden cloche. Now, I have not played with garden cloches in a couple of years, to be perfectly honest with you. I haven't really done much with them since 1.12. But that seems like a really good way, because if I remember correctly, the little bit that I did play around with them, the garden closures were kind of nuts. They would grow stuff really, really quickly. So that is what we're going to do, is we're going to make a farming area that's basically like just a sort of I guess a garden shop, I guess you'd say, along our road here, along our pathway that's going up to our mine colonies area. So we're going to, I think, put it where we want it. We want it in one of these two spots. I mean, we could be cheeky and do it like in the mountain here. That'd be kind of interesting. I don't know yet. Let me see if I can figure out where to put it here. But first we have to actually build the thing. So let's take a nap. And then we'll go ahead and get into building these things. So in order to be able to make these things, we need treated wood, iron mechanical components, glass, and vacuum tubes. Well, this stuff, you can see we've got plenty of down here. We've got all the stuff that we need here. We already have one vacuum tube sitting over there. That's okay. So we need 4 redstone. We need 4 nickel plates and 4 glass. So we just go ahead and take that out of our crafting bench here. And I don't think there's any particular order you have to put this stuff in with. No, you don't. 2, 3. There we go. So we're going to make 10 of them. I figure that's a good solid start, honestly, is 10 of these things. Let's go ahead and put those in there. Put that. No, you go back over there. Perfect. And yeah, redstone. Let's just put our copper in here because we're actually going to need the copper wire more. Okay, so garden cloches. So we should be able to make 10 of them. We are. There we go. We have 10 garden cloches. Now we do need, we've got our wire relays, we've got our wire connectors. We need more of these wire connectors. We need more wire relays, and we just need more wire in and of itself. So let's go ahead and take our snips. We'll put those in there. Let's make another 20. That sounds good. So let's go ahead and look up the wire connectors here. So we've got LV wire relay, LV wire connectors. So we need 8 more of these. So we need some terracotta with our copper. And unfortunately, I did not bring terracotta with me. And the one thing I just noticed about this versus the simple storage is that the wireless, the remote, does not work anywhere near as far. So we'll have to use our old-fashioned way of getting back and forth to pick up more stuff. So let's pick up our terracotta and head back. And after a little bit of back and forthing, we've got our garden cloches, our wire relays, and our LV wire connectors, as well as some LV wire coils that we're going to need to connect all this stuff together. So now we just got to figure out exactly where we want to put it here. Do we want it up here? I mean, up here would be the simplest way to do it. And we got to figure out some aesthetically pleasing way of running this cable out. I'm thinking... what am I thinking? I'm thinking the actual, if I can actually type in the wrong thing here, immersive engineering. I'm thinking these posts might be the way to go. Because we do have either aluminum posts, we have steel posts, which those are a little bit spendy. But then we just got these wooden posts, and they just use treated wood fence and some stone bricks. And I'm thinking that might be the best way and the most aesthetically pleasing way to have the wires going around. So yeah, let's go see if we can grab some treated wood fence and make these posts and then figure out what we're doing as far as location. Alright, so don't judge the aesthetics here because this will be changing. But yeah, here we go. So we got our 10 garden cloches. We've got our storage over here, which I think is enough for what we've got going on. So let's explain what's going on here because this took me a minute to figure out as well. So the garden cloches, I forgot, were this big. They are 2 blocks tall. Every single one of them needs power. So you can put power on this thing in the front here, or on the top, or I believe on the sides. So I mean, you can put power wherever you want. The problem is running the power there. We basically have a relay to a relay to a relay to a relay, and then the relay gets everything powered this way. Now you notice this one line that's running down here to this thing, which is your fluid pump. So you basically have to have water and power going to every single one of these. So underneath this, I basically have this fluid pump, with these, just the fluid pipes from the pipes mod, going into every single one of these garden cloches. So if you click on it up here, you'll see that it is getting both power and water, which are both the things you need for this. And you can also put fertilizer in too if you want. I'm not going to just yet, but we might be doing that at a future date. Now, the thing you need to remember with immersive engineering is that a lot of this stuff isn't really explained on like tooltips or anything, but they do have a handy dandy, where to go? Oh, there's the book. The Engineer's Manual, which is a book plus a lever. And this thing will tell you everything that you need to do for this. So like fluid transport, where did I find it here? So yeah, here's the pump. Basically what you have is you have your pump that you build, and then you smack it with the engineer's hammer to determine which sides are the input and output on this. So since we have an infinite water source here and here, we have our inputs on that side, and our output is down here with our fluid pipe taking all this water up to the garden cloches here. A little bit complicated, but read the book. The book actually goes through step by step on how to do this. Now, as far as the item transportation system, once again, we're just using pipes from the pipe mod because I love this mod. And then we're just basically shift clicking these because the outputs are all to the front of these particular garden cloches. So you just shift click that to basically make these so that they are dragging the items out of each one of these and putting them into our storage system down here. That's it. It's once you get it done, it's fairly, I mean, once you've done it a couple of times, it's fairly self-explanatory. It just takes a while to set up. Now, obviously, this is really, really, really ugly. We're going to fix that. Trust me. We're not going to leave this like this because this is kind of a mess. But we do need to get our crops over here to get growing, and we need to pick out 10 different crops, and I think I know which 10 I want. All right, and after reading the book a little bit more, just make sure I'm doing this right, we're basically going to take our dirt, which will automatically be turned into farmland, and then we're going to take our seeds and put them in there. And there we go. It is, in fact, growing. Fan-freaking-tastic. Okay, so dirt and carrot. There we go. And dirt and potato. There we go. And dirt and pepper, because we need that for our fish and chips, because that's definitely a pirate meal. Wow, I forget how quick these are. Okay, so dirt and pumpkin seeds. There we go. And dirt and industrial hemp seeds. There's that one. Dirt and melon seeds. Go in that one. And then I'm going to run an experiment here to see if this will actually work. So we'll go back over here. So we do soul sand, and it does work. Fantastic. We can automatically grow another wort, and we're getting enough power, so we're good there. Will this work? It will. Nice. So we can grow mushrooms. Did that work? Ooh. That didn't export. Okay, that's a problem. Maybe our engineer's hammer will solve that problem for us. You know, that's turning it. That's not what I want it to do. So that's an issue, but we'll have to figure out how to solve that. Ow! Stupid wire. We'll have to figure out how to solve that one in a bit here. All right, so let's keep that like that. And now I'm trapped. That's fantastic. And there we go. After a real quick redesign, I forgot that it wasn't this that everything got taken out of. It was the one in the middle over here. So that was the issue I was running into. So we got that redesigned. We got that re-engineered. The only issue we're running into here is we do not create anywhere near enough power for this setup. So we're going to have to fix that by adding in some other form of power generation up here. So the windmill's nice and all, but it does not create enough power to run the lights in here and a 10 garden cloche setup. For some reason, Croptopia crops are not compatible with the garden cloches. I don't know why, but they just straight up aren't. which is kind of odd because like this automatically gets turned into farmland when it's in here, so you shouldn't have to worry about that. Now for the inferium, you do have to have inferium farmland in there to grow your inferium seeds. So unlike normally where you can just plant this in normal farmland, you have to have the inferium farmland in there. Everything else seems to be growing just fine, but it will not accept the Croptopia crops, which I find a little disappointing because that means we still have to grow pepper manually if we want to have fish and chips. And, you know, I likes me some fish and chips. What can I say? So, unfortunately, right now, it doesn't look like Croptopia is actually compatible with these garden cloches from Immersive Engineering. But even with no power, the fact that we've got this many resources with virtually no power going to this, imagine, like, hooking up a nuclear reactor to this and then having it fully fertilized too. It would be just bananas on toast. It would be ludicrous the amount of resources you get out of this, which we're probably going to do. What I actually was thinking of, though, as far as a power generation thing, I'm not going to do it in this episode because this episode is almost coming to a close here, unfortunately. But probably what I want to do is I had an idea in my startup immersive engineering guide thing that I put together a couple of weeks ago. And the idea was I wanted to basically use the water wheels to make a Mississippi steamboat. If you remember pictures of those, I mean, Sam Clemens made them famous in his books, of course. But make a Mississippi steamboat out of 2 of those to make it look like it's actually moving, to make the water wheels go, and then just like run wires to different places. Now, there is in this thing, a Tesseract. Items, fluids, and energy can be transferred between multiple Tesseracts. So what we could do is we could totally do the steamboat out there and then use these Tesseracts, which aren't that hard to make, honestly. It's obsidian, a block of diamond, and 4 ender pearls. And if you remember from a couple episodes ago, thanks to this guy over here, we have infinite diamonds. So Tesseracts are not that difficult to make. So we could actually have a Tesseract running power from a ship out in the harbor to all of our stuff here. So we wouldn't even need these wires. We could literally get rid of all of these wires and just basically have one Tesseract that you just wire everything to, and ta-da, you're done. That's really about it. And it not only does it transfer power, but it can transfer items and fluids as well. So it would even reduce the need for ender chests. Like you could just have Tesseracts in various different places getting input from things and then just run, some sort of power cabling up here. And there's a number of different ways to get power to different places outside of immersive engineering. I like immersive engineering because I like the kind of steampunky, old school power generation and power transference with the old copper wires. I think that's kind of cool. And I think it's very Minecrafty. But the Tesseract is just, that's just, this is too good to pass up. It really is, where you could just basically have all the power being sent via wireless transmission with these little Tesseracts everywhere you want it. Anywhere. I mean, and that's the other thing, is it could go anywhere. Like we could have a power generator here, and we could have a Tesseract 10,000 blocks that way, and it would transfer it. Kind of dumb. But I hope you enjoyed this episode. I hope you enjoyed building this array that we have here for the garden cloches to just basically do all of our farming for us, so we don't have to worry about manual farming ever again, which would be oh so nice. And I do hope you enjoyed our adventure exploration that we had at the very beginning of the episode too. I always enjoy doing exploration and adventure. Even though we didn't find a whole heck of a lot, I still had a lot of fun doing it, just simply because that's one of my big shticks in Minecraft, is adventure and exploration and building and figuring this stuff out. Like I said, I hadn't played with garden cloches in a very, very long time, so I had to sort of relearn how to do it, and thanks to the book, I was able to do that, which is nice. So this is something I highly recommend. Like if you're getting into immersive engineering, or you're getting into like the automatic farming, this is definitely something that I would suggest going into, because I think it's a lot of fun to do, and it's a lot of fun to set this kind of thing up. And just, it's an engineering problem. You got to kind of figure out how to get around certain things. And we'll clean up the way this looks in between episodes too, so it's not just ugly ugly out, the pipes everywhere and stuff all over the place. So we'll get that cleaned up as well. So, but I do hope you had a good time. I hope you enjoyed yourself. Please make sure to click like and subscribe on the way out the door if you're not already subscribed to the channel. But hey, I do this for fun. I do this for entertainment. I do this for stress relief. If you don't want to click subscribe, if you don't want to do anything you don't want to do while you're here, don't feel like you have to when you're watching my videos, other than just enjoy the videos and have a good time. That's the most I could ask for, and the most I want is just have a good time, have fun, and enjoy being here with everyone else in the community. But whatever you do tonight, make sure you go out, play some games, have some fun. I'll see you all again real soon. Have a good night, everybody.